last couple of months, the cannabis stocks, well, they've gotten completely hammered. I think the group got too hot and needed to cool down. But this is still a tremendous long-term opportunity because of so much displacement that this is going to do. And that's why I want to keep getting these companies in your face. Be familiar with the newly minted cannabis companies. Take Green Growth Brands. That's an American company that's listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange. Green Growth actually operates in the U.S. They describe themselves as a lifestyle-oriented consumer products company that sells cannabis-related products like CBD, which was legalized late last year. These guys have been opening CBD stores all over the country. So is this the kind of cannabis exposure that's worth having? Let's take a closer look with Peter Horvath. He's the CEO of Green Growth Brands to get a better sense of how his company's doing and where it's headed. Mr. Horvath, welcome back to Mad Money.
Thanks for having me back, Jim. It's great to be here.
All right, so Peter, since we talked to you last, there's been, look, they legalized it on a federal level, but it's just CBD. But you put up a lot of stores. What's your experience? Because you promised us good-looking stores, and I can see from the pictures they sure are beautiful.
Well, Jim, I met with you, spoke with you 8 months ago. I think it was the day that cannabis was becoming legal recreationally in Canada.
Exactly.
And back then, we had one dispensary. We had just closed on a deal. Today, we have licenses that allow us to open up 47 dispensaries in 3 states, Florida, Nevada, and Massachusetts. And you're right, the CBD thing seems to be going legit way faster than the cannabis thing. And I know there's a lot of interest in cannabis, and we're very interested, but we're also interested in being a kind of a dual threat. CBD, we've opened, in just the last 4 months, we've opened 60 shops. In the next 4 months, we're going to top out at 230 shops, and then we'll see where we go from there. But the way that happened, just to prove how legitimate it's becoming, it came through partnerships with Simon Property Group and Brookfield Management. So big-time mall developers, guys with the best malls in the world, and they gave us access to the best locations and the best malls right away, which is why we're rolling so fast.
Well, I'm so glad you called them shops. The dispensary is just, that's pre the revolution, frankly. Dispensary makes it sound like it's where sick people go in order to be able to get some sort of, some sort of morphine near the end of their lives. And I am so glad because you're bringing this mainstream. I want you to tell us what some of the testimonials are when people have gone to your stores, because these stores are now, they're all over the place, and you must be able to actually start build up a model of same store numbers.
Yeah, and thank you for mentioning same store sales, because both you and I think it's going to be kind of important at some point. And, we operate 2 dispensaries in Nevada. I'm going to use them as the case study.
Okay.
They do over $18 million each. They do $15,000 per foot in sales, which any retailer would drool over.
Oh, my God.
And they have no tourists. They are in the suburbs. So it's not, we don't have the taxi cabs bringing people. It's basically locals. 85% of the people who shop there live within 6 miles. So these people, localization, which we knew at Victoria's Secret and American Eagle was essential to having a future with brands. Best, I'd say Lululemon does it awesome. They have a community. Each store, even though it might be in a mall, it's specific and relevant and real to the local customers. Our 2 dispensaries in Nevada are exactly that way. We get 1.5 visits per week. It's like buying eggs and milk. So
right.
With all that, we've got this merchant team that comes from Victoria's Secret, Abercrombie, other places, bringing merchandising, not just store operations, to cannabis. What happens when you do that? Well, I'll tell you, 2 weeks ago, we just changed the floor set to make it easier to navigate. We've been working on narrowing the assortment, doing all the things that you and I love about great retailers today. And we got about a 12% increase in sales. And we're talking about stores that do $15,000 a foot. So when you get 12% on 15,000, I think that the numbers are too big for me to figure out.
But Peter, we should point out that the Nevada stores are THC. They have THC, and THC is something that a lot of people really want. CBD, nice THC, recreationally, a lot of people love. So, can that be, is that a good example of what could happen if THC is legalized?
I think so. Let me tell you a little bit about the CBD shops. Basically, we've decided only to sell topical product, which means it doesn't get into your blood, which means the FDA isn't so interested in it.
Right.
I don't know if you're aware, but people are selling inhalable or ingestible CBD, and right now that's federally illegal per the FDA.
Yeah, Scott Gottlieb was on our network saying, we have no dosing rules. Stop taking that stuff. Said nothing bad about topical.
Yeah, that's why we focus on topical. And think about it, our backgrounds, the team's backgrounds are Bath & Body Works, Procter & Gamble, Beiersdorf. We understand how to manufacture across the world at the highest cosmetic standards, at the Whole Foods standard, at GMP. Let's do that with CBD, which we felt nobody else was doing. And we actually have the most comprehensive assortment of topical product. And this is what's amazing, Jim. 8 months ago, it didn't exist. Right. And so we're excited. This is a speed race, and it's amazing.
But
it's just obviously.
Irwin Simon, longtime guest on the show from a previous company, okay, owns this Afria. You did make a hostile after his stock got knocked down. Why didn't you try to combine friendly? Irwin, you mentioned Whole Foods. You know that Walter Robb's on his board. Couldn't something have been worked out there?
Well, I think that was exactly the way we approached it. It was opportunistic. I wouldn't say it's in we have any plans to go hostile on anybody in the future or to go after an LP. But that was, at that point in time, it was opportunistic. We knew that team well. Irwin hadn't yet joined. He joined after we announced the bid. Right. Irwin and I spoke 2 weeks ago. Look, the cannabis industry, I'd say there are no enemies. Everybody knows that they need each other, and they also know that someday they might be bought by one of these other guys that you meet at these conferences and out there on the road. So I think friendly is the only way to go in this industry. The way it worked for us was a function of how our boards were operating and the specific circumstances of they had a short that was killing their stock at the time.
Right. It was a short, but one of the things that you guys are doing, you're approaching for young people. You got the Abercrombie, and the other thing I got to tell you that I really like about what you're doing is that you hired a chief merchant with the kind of Victoria's Secret. You are hitting the right group. You're not just after in Oregon it's mostly older people or stoners, frankly. You are dealing with regular people.
Yeah, we understand consumers. I mean, that's how we built our careers. When you get as old as me, you've been around a little bit, and we've learned from some of the best merchants. Look, if you think about the best merchants you've probably had on your show, there's Les Wexner, there's Mickey Drexler. We all learn from people like that. And I'm kind of excited to be in an industry where people are just cherry picking a few positions, but they don't have organizations top to bottom that understand what merchants do on a Monday. And that's the day. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we got to wrap up. I mean, I can talk to you all day. I mean, you're fast. You're one of our guys, all right? So I do hope you'll come to the set or we go to one of your stores because I think you're approaching it right. The other guys are all approaching it so that it's, frankly, a little unbecoming to go to the stores. That is Peter Horvath. Yep. He's the CEO of Green Growth Brands. You see why I had him on. He is moving merchandise in actual numbers, plus 12% pickup. Isn't that something? Stay with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.